Yo, what's up guys? It's Yellowfin, and I'm going to be covering my new brand specialization that I am starting. So, I finally decided to actually start specializing on like a single brand and not just some countries or niche things. Because, I have had a few specializations, which is American, just high-end in general. I've upgraded a lot of my American high-end cars. Like, all my ultra rares are maxed are American, besides the Rally Sedan, which I got recently. And then a lot of my epics are either maxed, highly upgraded, or stock. So I've got like a lot of good stuff in my American collection that I've focused on working on. Same goes with Germany. I've worked on my high tier of Germany. It's not as good as my American collection, but I do have two maxed out legendaries when it comes to Germany, with the Gumpert Apollo S and 911 GT2 RS. And then another sort of niche, my very niche specialization that I have, is 2010s SUVs. Which is, I have a pretty solid 2010s SUVs hand, with a lot of the different niche aspects, such as having the lower tier of it, four-wheel drive standard tires, front-wheel drive all surfaces, four-wheel drive standards, and four-wheel drive performance tires, and then with a good high tier area as well, with having a low RQ Epic 2, the Acadia Denali, and then some good high RQ ones like the SQ5 and the Cayenne Turbo. Excuse me. But now, I'm actually going to decide to, I've gotten basically to the point where I decided I should probably start working on a specialization of a brand. Now, there were a few brands that I was thinking about doing, which I'll cover right now, one of which was Chevrolet. It is one that I would probably have a good chance specializing in, but the thing is, I don't really want to keep some of these lower Q cars right now. They just they seem kind of like a waste to me for right now. And I don't really feel like I need to keep them yet, but Chevy might be like a second specialization, like after I get so much progress on this one specialization, which you'll hear about in a second. But Chevy is probably will be my second brand specialization that I'll start to work on, because I do have a lot of the good stuff. Only really good ones I'm missing is the Z06 and maybe the Corvette Stingray, because I have a lot of the stronger epics, and then the other epics would just be keeping and filling in the spots. But I have a really strong Chevrolet hand, but the Chevrolet also kind of ties in with the American part, which is why also then I didn't really want to specialize in just Chevrolet, because I already have a strong American hand. I'd rather like to make another country stronger through this type of specialization. Another one I was looking at is BMW, but there's just so many other BMWs I just don't have, and just so many cars in general in BMW, that I felt like this would just be too hard, and so I didn't really want to do BMW then. Another one I was looking at was Dodge, but so many people already specialize in Dodge. It's also American, and I already have a good American hand. And I am missing a lot of the good Dodge as well, so it would take a while. I do have one of the prize cars though, but a lot of other people already specialize in Dodge, so I wanted to kind of have my own unique brand that I specialized in. And then Ford would have been one that I might have done, but Ford just has so many. It's a mixture of American and British cars, which is kind of interesting to specialize in. And I don't really like too many of the British cars. I prefer the American Fords. And also, there aren't, like, if it was Ford, I'd want to get more, like, I'd want to specialize in it when there's, like, a bunch of the Mustangs and the F-150s, and more like the American cars, because American Frontier did add some good ones, but it didn't really add a lot to Ford. Ford has a lot of potential still. And same goes for the British Fords. There's still a lot of British Fords, too, that could be added, and Ford just has a lot of potential, and there's already a lot of cars in it, so Ford will probably get an update sometime in the future, in the distant future. So I decided not to do Ford then. All these other brands I kind of just don't have very much significant amounts in. Nissan was one that would have been a good one too, but I just don't really feel like too much of a connection to like really these Nissans. Like, I don't really want to keep a Murano Crest Cabriolet or a Pathfinder. I would keep this Pathfinder though, because I like this one, but it's just I don't really have as much of a connection to Nissan as I do to the brand I'm specializing in. And then Porsche was another one too that I was looking at, but Porsche just has so many legendaries, and really if you want to specialize in Porsche, you kind of need the 962C, because that's really your key car to Porsche. If you're going to be competing in Porsche events and you want to win, you kind of need a 962C. It's basically your key to victory, unless maybe you have the Moby Dick or the 911 GT2 RS, but still it's going to be losing to the 962C basically everywhere. And then, the brand that I have decided, if you can see maybe out of these which one has the most, it is Subaru. So Subaru is the brand I have decided on. and it's for multiple reasons. One of which is the Subaru Impreza is one of my dream cars. My main dream car is the Ford Escort RS Turbo, which is the hatchback, the one from, I'll actually just show you guys, it's a bit easier, so then I won't have to like edit in a picture or something, because it is, I mean, it's not really like a not well-known car, but it isn't really well-known in America, since they didn't have it in America. But yeah, the Ford Escort RS Turbo, this is my dream car, basically. But the Subaru Impreza is also like, it's like the secondary tier dream car, where like the Ford Escort's like the project car, and then the dream car is like the Subaru Impreza or the Toyota 4Runner for me. And basically, when it comes to the Subaru Impreza, I really don't have a favorite Subaru Impreza. I kind of like all of them that have like a performance package to them. So any like WRX, STI, WRX, STIs, anything else that is a performance package on an Impreza that basically just makes it a performance car and not a generic sedan, then I like it. So that's why one reason why I wanted to pick Subaru. Another reason is it's Japanese, so it's not in American or Germany, so it'll be making my Japanese collection stronger. It also has a very easy way where I can collect all the cars, because there's only one legendary, only one prize car, which isn't too crazy of a prize car that like everyone would drop hundreds and hundreds of dollars on getting. It's an 83, RQ83. It's also a new one, so it probably won't be given out for a while. So I'll probably have more time to strengthen my garage and make it better. And then there are 3 epic prize cars too. The 22B, the WRX P1, and the WRX STI S202. But these will all probably be given away in like a challenge, or maybe like some weird little events, or like the M3 GTS, which I won. So they wouldn't really be too hard to win. And so that's why it has a very capable of getting prize car range. Also, it's a very easy to get legendary. It's just one legendary, compared to like with other brands like Porsche, it has like 20 legendaries that I'd want to get. And basically my goal is to collect all of them. And also, it also gives me an excuse to want to keep all of these low RQ bad ones that aren't really that great. Because I do want to keep them, because I like the car, it's the Subaru Impreza. But they're just, some of them are just like not great. I mean, they all are kind of great in their own ways, but really they're not great. They lose to the Evo 4 everywhere. Even my, these two lose to the Evo 4 on a lot of tracks, because just the Evo 4 is just very good. But there is lots of epics, so there is a lot of high tier stuff to collect, but it's not like a bunch of legendaries that I have to collect, where then I'm really testing my luck. Epics, they're just going to come over time, and I'm just going to get them over time. Then when it comes to ultra rares, there's a lot of nice ultra rares. There is some stuff that isn't that great, but then also there are a lot of good ones too that I'd be happy to collect. And so it's got a bunch of different areas of the spectrum, but it's also got a lot of ultra rares too. That's the thing, it's got a lot of cars. Then when it comes to super rares as well, it's got a nice little collection of cars to collect. And same goes for rares, uncommons, and commons. So it's like got stuff from all over the spectrum. So it is a pretty good brand that to specialize in, because it doesn't have very hard to get high end, especially like some of the higher tier stuff. And it's got stuff all throughout the brand. It has 109 cars, not really impossible to claim prize cars. I just gotta have a good hand in it. And yeah, so it should be a pretty good brand and a pretty fun one. I also have a connection to it with it having a lot of my dream car in it. And another thing, which is a interesting reason that I thought of, is it also was just revamped in a new update, which means that probably the brand Subaru probably won't be touched for a while now, which means I'll have a lot of time to work on collecting all of the Subarus before there will be a new update to Subaru, if there ever is one. So then I'll have plenty of time to work on upgrading my Subaru collection. Now, right now, I'm going to show what my Subaru collection looks like as of now. Because it's decent, it's not bad, it's 23 cars, but we do have 2 maxed epics already, with the Impreza WRX STI version V and the WRX STI Type RA, both of which are 2 through 3. So they are both RQ71 epics, so they're sort of mediocre. They're in about the middle of the field, but they're not bad. They're not really good, so they're sort of niche. They're just sort of like a good car to use when they're useful. Which is what I kind of like with epics sometimes, is having all the good ones is really good, but really these ones that are sort of like the middle ground ones are the ones that are going to probably help you a lot, because they're the ones you can use more often. They're the ones that aren't as expensive, and they're also ones that sometimes can surprise you, like this one having 98 handling makes it really useful, and this one doesn't have too bad of a 0 to 60 for a 4-wheel drive performance medium ground clearance car from the 90s. So they're both pretty good. Ultra rares, I have 3 of them. They aren't really too special. I mean, the Forester is a good one. It's pretty light. This one's just generic 4-wheel drive performance tire cars, and this one has the niche of being an SUV. Super rares, I just need to work on upgrading them. Rares, I have a maxed Impreza and then the Exigo Crossover 7, which I'll start working on soon. My Super Impreza right now, this is the current project. It's at 2-starred. Then I'll probably start working on one of the other uncommons. And then commons, I'm working on finishing maxing out a common Porsche. Then I'm going to start working on the commons. Probably this is the Subaru R1 or maybe the Impreza I'll work on to start off with. But first I need to get my clubs bonus because right now I am broke on gold and I haven't had my clubs bonus for 2 days. So it's been kind of hard to gain cash. But, I mean, that's kind of an oh well moment. And so yeah, that's basically going to conclude it for this video. It's my new specialization. It's basically my goal. I want to try and collect every car from the brand Subaru. It's going to take a very long time. It is a pretty long goal. That'll definitely take a long time. But I want to see how well I'll be able to do. And also, it'll help my Japanese hand out a lot. Because then I'll be getting a lot of different niche cars that might not be as useful as you think. But then they might be like really useful in one event and could end up winning me like a carbon fiber or even a prize car. So yeah, that's basically going to conclude it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this type of content, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that cool stuff. I'm Yellowfin. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.